morning, Quirky Birders, it's Lynn here, and it's time for your next instalment of your birth month flower series. Now, I'm well aware that I need to be playing a little bit of catch up, but here we are, and we'll continue the series from today. Now, we had painted up to the month of May. So we had painted the carnation, the beautiful delicate little violet, and we'd also painted the daffodil and the sweet peas. We'd finished the series up to the month of May, so we'd actually painted the lovely little hawthorn flower. And today we are going to be painting the little rose, and that's the design and illustration that we're going to be painting today. Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you how to paint a very simple little illustration of a rose. Now, the rose is the birth month flower for the month of June. And as a little painted flower goes, it's actually very simple to paint. Okay, so let's just make a start. So I've just got one here just in the top corner of the screen, just as a little bit of reference for you. Now I'm going to be using a size 5 round-headed brush, but you can change to something a little bit smaller if you would like to. And then I'm also just going to use a little bit of crimson paint with regards to my little my rose, but again you can choose the colour and you can choose to paint whichever colour you like. So to paint your little rose, what you're going to do to begin with is you're actually going to begin by just stippling a little bit of the watercolour paint in almost like a pair of brackets. So you've got a C shape coming one way, and then you've got sort of a backward C shape coming the other. Now, I'm not going to reload my brush because we're going to be working from light to dark. So what you're then able to do is just continue to sort of stipple those random little shapes and just then create the shapes of the petals coming out from the main central point. Now, like I say, don't reload your brush. You can sort of lift away some of the paint from the inside if you wanted to. And as you're getting further out to the edges of your rose, then just make those petals a little bit wider. We can work quite lightly. Just let the paint run out on you, that's absolutely fine. And then we'll just put a little cup shape underneath the petals, a little U shape. So it's just a very simple little shape, like I say, just working from that centre point with the two little C shapes. And we can do the same for a little bud. So again, we can start with those two little, almost like little brackets. And then we can just stipple a little bit. You don't want anything too much for the bud, you just want to keep it nice and small. And we'll put a little bit of a shaped There we go. So we'll just let these dry just a little bit, and then we will do a little bit of over painting. But whilst they're drying, let's just add in a couple of stems. So I'm still just going to use my size 5 brush, but please do feel free if you need to change to something a little bit lighter, you can do. And let's just bring, using the tip of the brush, just a stem down from the bottom of the larger rose. And then let's take another stem, it's just going to crossways for the bud. Now we can also add a couple of leaves to our illustration. Now leaves you can just do directly from the brush, just a very, very simple leaf shape. Only with the roses, they've got a little bit of a jagged edge, so just go back over that line again and just do some little, almost little flicks of the paint just to get that little sort of fluted edge of your leaf. And you can then just work that paint into the middle. You can leave a couple of areas of highlight, you don't have to completely paint all of the leaf. We'll add one just up here, just again a very small one up towards the top, and then again just add those little flicks of paint. Now it is looking a little bit pale, but we will come back over the painting in just a moment. But the first thing I'm going to do is, still using this green, is let's just put the base of that rose in. So I can use the green, and we will overpaint a little bit. And then we've got that lovely base of the rose there in position. Okay, so just to recap, to paint your little rose, you start with a couple of little C's, like closed brackets, and then work your petals out from that centre point. Again, just let the paint run out, don't reload your paintbrush, because that means then you'll get this lovely sort of paler and contrasting colour to the petals on your rose. You can repeat the process in exactly the same way, but much smaller for the bud of the rose. And then you need to add in the stems and the leaves, just using a nice little bit of leaf green, and not forgetting to add these little fluted points on the edge of your leaves. Okay, so coming back to the centre of our rose now, I'm just going to wet my brush again and take up a little bit of the crimson. Now all you're going to do for this is you're just literally going to almost stipple the additional overpainting. You don't need to do it too much. You're not going to do every single petal. It's just about adding in a little bit of the extra colour to your lovely rose. Again, don't lose some of that lovely contrast that you've worked on building. And if you feel you need to add an extra petal, then do so. We'll add a little bit down here on the cup. And the same on the little bud. And then let's just add a little bit more of the darker colour, a little bit of overpainting onto the leaves Like I say, nothing too much. And we can add just a couple of little, let's add a little leaf coming off the cup there. There we go. Okay, so just need to let that dry, and then we will add in the ink details and just finish off the illustration itself. Okay, so now it's time to do the ink details for your little illustration. And I'll just give the rose a couple of more moments just to fully dry. So we'll start with the stems and the leaves of the flower itself. Now, fine liner wise, you want to keep it really nice and fine. So it'd be nice to use something like a 0.1 for your fine lining. So we'll just start by adding in the stem of the larger rose, and then we can pop in just a couple of little suggestions of thorns down that stem. We can outline the little cup and just put a couple of lines in the bottom of there. And now it comes to the leaf. Now with the leaf, just add in a couple of the little zigzags almost. So just do a little line and then almost return on yourself, just so you end up with that lovely sort of fluted little edge to your leaf. And then just take that central line up through the middle. We'll keep these nice and simple, the ones that are coming out the side of the rose itself. Okay, so let's just do the little bud to begin with first. And we'll just come around the outside of that lovely shape we've created. And we'll put a little split there down the middle. And then the inside of your little rosebud, again, you're just going to start with those little C shapes and almost spiral your way around the painted petals, like so. So we'll do the same on this one. Again, we've created a little bit of shaping around the actual base of the rose flower, and we'll just start inside and just quite free flow all the way around those lovely little petals on your rose. And then let's just write the word rose up the stem. And we'll just put in there that it's the month of June. And there we have it. A very, very simple little illustration of a rose flower for the month of June. I do hope you've enjoyed painting along with me today. There'll be more of these videos to follow. Have a lovely day now. Goodbye.